Well, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa says despite the many challenges facing the governing party and the country, significant gains have been made over the past year. He was speaking at the ANC Presidential Gala Dinner at the Johannesburg Expo Centre last night. SABC News anchor Naledi Moleo joins us now from NASREC, where the party's 55th National Conference is expected to start today. Very good morning to you once again, Naledi. How's the mood on the ground?
Well, good morning to you as well, Desiree, and to the viewers. The mood on the ground is electric, just to say the very least. I wanted to actually give you just a little walk around so that the viewers can get a sense of really what the place looks like here at NASREC as we get into day one of the 55th National Congress of the ANC. This is, of course, as you can see behind me there, you've got a media contingency that is standing by, really waiting to hear what comes out of the plenaries that are taking place inside of the halls that are sitting behind what is over here where a lot of the media has been stationed. You'd know that this is quite important because there was over the last few weeks a lot of controversy around whether or not the media would be paying for the space to broadcast. But indeed, very energetic this morning as we start to see those delegates start to trickle in. You've got some really important reports as well that are going to be tabled as part of the program. The president of the party going to table his political report. You've got the all-important report also coming out of the Integrity Commission, and then also the Treasurer General delivering his report. But let's get some analysis on really what we're expecting to be the tone of those reports on day one of the conference. And for that, we are joined by Mr. Sandile Swana, political analyst and also a lecturer at the Wits School of Governance. Good morning to you, Mr. Swana. I think before we even get into the discussion, what do you make of the mood of the 55th National Conference this morning?
Well, for the most part, what we are seeing so far is a lot of activity of the media. We expect the ANC delegates to come in and register, go through the credentials process. But already in the build-up to this, we've seen some exchanges, fiery exchanges, the likes of Tony Yengeni getting disqualified. This morning we're hearing that Jacob Zuma was trying to charge the president without a certificate to do so. So clearly it's going to be exciting but hostile.
And I think that the security detail here really showing that there's a lot of preparation for some of those hostilities. I want to get into just the program and what it looks like and what you're expecting to hear. The president set to deliver his political report, the tone that he needs to have as he delivers that report.
The tone is twofold, and this has been a difficult area. One of them is to say what measurable progress has been made on the renewal of the ANC and the state, the recreation and rehabilitation of state institutions such as the NPA, ESCOM, Transnet, PRASA, SAA, as well as the reconstitution of the ANC. But we've seen in the Free State, for instance, and the Western Cape, that some of the branches had not been renewed since the days of Thabo Mbeki. So these were branches that were in the briefcase of people, not actual branches. And in Mpumalanga, we saw the wipe up of a lot of the branches that were created by David Mabuza. So all of those things will kick in to deal with the dishonesty and the lying spirit that Thabo Mbeki once spoke about that has entered the African National Congress. So those will be some of the issues. And obviously, there are many urgent issues. A lot of the ANC municipalities certainly are totally dysfunctional as we speak today. We would expect him to say something about bringing competency within the municipal sector and the public sector as a whole, and the professionalization of the work of the state. Those would be the type of thing. And lastly, this idea of the new cadre of the ANC, which is 22 years old now, if my dates are correct, and the eye of the needle, which has been very, very difficult. And we saw Halima trying to put up this eye of the needle. But camels and elephants and giraffes are still going through that eye of the needle.
Yeah. There's a lot to really unpack today. You've also got the Treasurer General who's going to deliver his report. What you cannot deny, though, is that the past few years for the ANC's finances have been particularly difficult. I mean, we've seen even, I know a lot of us remember this, staff members within the ANC complaining a lot about not having been paid. I mean, what are you expecting to hear when we start looking at the balance sheet of the party?
The party is in a long-term financial crisis that is going to continue in the coming years. If you've been raising funds with, of course, we need to find polite language to express these things through cooking tenders, through dubious means of largely siphoning state resources to fund the party and to fund the personal lifestyle of the comrades. And you are the one also leading the charge to close those taps, then unfortunately we are going to be the victim of the very same thing that we are saying we are trying to do right. So it's like a mafia that is trying to stop selling drugs and so on. You are going to enter financial problems as you do that.
There's also the report that's going to come from the Integrity Commission. That there is certainly going to store up some of the hostility that you talked about, because surely the Phala Phala saga going to be a really big part of what is tabled in that part of the discussion.
Yes, what we want to see from that is whether, since they last spoke, the Integrity Commission has gathered the evidence, which we know from Sandile Swana's report, the panel report, that evidence is sitting in the hands of Cyril Ramaphosa. Although they say there is hearsay, the evidence that is not hearsay is within easy reach of Cyril Ramaphosa. Whether he has now taken the time to go and deliver that evidence to them from Mr. Ndlovu, for instance, a sworn statement or any other statement from Mr. Ndlovu, from Mr. von Velech, the farm manager, and others, and including the so-called buyer of the so-called buffaloes and so on and so forth.
And just lastly, before I let you go, I think as part of the discussions today is going to be around the amendments of the Constitution of the African National Congress, and some interesting talking points that have been in there about what they do, particularly with the step-aside rule. A question in there about whether or not they temporarily suspend the step-aside rule. I mean, what would that mean for the party if that were a step that they would take?
There would be very little negative effect. Unfortunately, I am one of those people who said the step-aside rule was unwise in the first place, because there is no offense that has been attended to by the step-aside rule that is not fully catered for in the constitution of the ANC. So whether it's Ishma Khashule or any other person, Zweli Mkhize or any other person, including Cyril Ramaphosa, you can attend to their problem fully using the constitution of the ANC without any other document.
All that there, Mr. Sandile Swana, political analyst and also lecturer at the Wits School of Governance.